I must have missed the memo somewhere. As a newbie RV owner, I did not fully understand until now, after the fact, that buying a new RV, although it sounds like it would be easier and more convenient than a used RV, is a real pain in the ass. When things started breaking on my RV, everyone laughed at me and said, well, didn't you know? And I'm like, no, I didn't. Call me stupid, but I thought when I'm plunking down tens of thousands of dollars on something new that it will at least work for a while. In this video, I'm going to tell you 5 things you should do as soon as you pick up your new camper. I hope that you can learn from, well, some of my drama. My name is Natasha Bajma, and these are my dogs, Charlie and Luna. We're embarking on the adventure of a lifetime, a 365-day journey across America with my Ford 350 Super Duty pickup truck and a truck camper. But this is no ordinary road trip. This is what happens when a disillusioned nuclear weapons expert, going through a midlife crisis, tries to begin a new career but can't quite get off topic. Radioactive Road Tripping is a travelogue show that documents my transformation from a longtime national security expert to a newbie director, cinematographer, and producer. I just left Austin, Texas, and I'm headed home. I just dropped off my Host Yukon truck camper at Princess RV Craft, that's the RV dealer, where they're going to fix a long list of things that broke in the first 2 months of my ownership. In this video, I'm going to tell you 5 things you should do as soon as you pick up your new camper. I hope that you can learn from, well, some of my drama. Number 1, read your warranty. Host gives 1 year warranty on basically everything that they've manufactured, but it turns out there's a lot that they didn't manufacture. During the first year, then, it's really, really important that you go to a certified dealer, or at least a dealer that is authorized by Host to make the repairs. If you don't do that and you don't get prior authorization from Host, you could run into your warranty being voided for some reason. Read your warranty very thoroughly, multiple times. Make sure you understand all of it. Also, make sure you turn in that warranty card. You know those warranty cards we always ignore? You might want to turn this one in because it's worth a hell of a lot more money than some of the other ones. Now, you're probably wondering what all went wrong on my camper. Day 1, I left the RV dealer. I started my trip up to Minnesota. They had installed aftermarket airlift airbags on my truck and filled them up to stabilize the ride, and it just didn't feel right. And when I arrived in Minnesota and I took the camper off, they had lost an incredible amount of PSI, and so I wondered if there was a leak. Well, it turns out that they just, unlike tires, when you load the camper onto the truck, it increases in PSI. So you want to start off at a low setting, put the camper on, and then stabilize the truck. Number 2 is read all of the documentation that you were given. Host gave me a 4-inch binder containing the technical manuals for all of the systems inside the camper. That includes the appliances, the electronics, the heating and the cooling system, the hot water heater, the fans, you name it, there was a manual. I'm going to also have to supplement that with some research and some YouTubing to make sure that I understand all of the systems inside of my camper. On day 3, I'm up in Minnesota at my parents' house and I'm testing everything on the camper, and I turned on the fan already, but I turned on the fan again and it didn't work. And my dad came and checked it out. We had to take the fan out and he had to reinstall it. Basically, there was one faulty connection. Number 3, test everything. Once you have your brand new camper home, test it all. Turn it on, turn it off, hook it up, use it all. You should obviously try your slides, your awning, all of your locks, your hot water heater. If you have solar, make sure your solar panels are working, your batteries, fans, TVs, stove, fridge, microwave, faucets, tanks, jacks. Test it all. Day 8, I took the practice camping trip at the KOA near my parents' house. We hook up to city water for the very first time. I'm leaning back in the recliner, it's thundering outside, and basically there's water running out onto the floor. And so I go and I open up the cabinets below the TV, and there's water running down the back of the cabinet onto the floor. So I immediately disconnect the water hookups. I used my freshwater tank for the rest of that evening, and thankfully my dad was able to tighten some valves, but at Princess RV Craft we're gonna just make sure, hook it up to seawater again and make sure there isn't a leak. Number 4 is go camping. I camped 3 times, and every single time I camped in the last 2 months, something broke. I picked up my Host Yukon truck camper on August 20 on the way up to Minnesota. So I live in Rockport, Texas. I picked up the camper in Austin, Texas, and then I continued all the way up to Minnesota, where my parents live. And the idea was to kind of give it a bit of a test run and to work out some of the kinks. When I was up in Minnesota, I decided to do one-night practice camping at the KOA, local KOA, basically because failure was an option. My parents lived nearby, 20 minutes away, and so if something went wrong, it wouldn't be a big deal. My dad came to pick me up, and we were gonna do the first dump at the KOA with black and gray water tanks. Pull up, there's a line, of course. We pull the valve, get everything hooked up, pull the valve on the black water tank, and nothing comes out. I kid you not. And so we pull the valve on the gray water tank, nothing comes out. We later figured out that the gray water tank has an entirely different system, so you have to connect it to that separately. User error. But the black water tank did not work. Day 13, I'm headed back to Texas from Minnesota. I'm camping overnight 2 nights to kind of stretch out the miles. And the idea there again was to try everything out in a little riskier environment, meaning I had no one to help me if something went wrong. I'm at the campsite and I need to check my air pressure and maybe use my compressor. And both of those items were all in the basement drawer for my camper, and the lock broke and I could not unlock the door. So I couldn't get at my compressor. Lesson learned, I now keep the compressor inside the truck. I keep all of that stuff inside the truck, not in the camper, in case anything like that happens again, because it's just too important. Day 15, I'm back home in Rockport, Texas. I have to take it for my second attempt at a dump, and I was so nervous because this time I was by myself. I went out to Goose Island State Park. They have 2 dump sites there. You have to pay for a day pass to get in. So I pull up, there's no line this time, which is much better. I get everything hooked up, I pull the valve, and nothing happens again. It's much fuller this time, so it being empty is not an issue. So basically, while everything's hooked up and the valve is open, I got in my truck and I moved it a little bit, and then things started flowing. So I was able to dump both gray and black water tanks that day, but it still caused a little concern. And so Princess RV Craft is gonna take a look at that as well. Day 36, I did a full-on camping trip to Big Bend National Park. That was the first real test of the camper. And I really wanted to use the awning. I was in the middle of the desert, and this would have given me a little extra shade. Unfortunately, when I went to push the button, it didn't work anymore. So it worked the first time. You push the button, it unfolds, and it comes out. On this particular time, it would start unrolling, but the arms here that are along the side actually would not pull out. So that looks like it's gonna be another expensive repair. Day 37, I'm on my way home from Big Bend National Park. I'm stopping in an RV park just outside of San Antonio for the night. I want to take a shower, and I turned on the hot water heater, and there was no hot water. And so I went to look at it. I turned it on and off a couple times, but I did not hear it ignite, and confirmed again the next morning it did not work. I also had an electrical problem. My inverter stopped working. There was I think overload issue. I wasn't sure if it was the inverter or if it was the box outside. Once I got home, I plugged in the camper again and it seemed to be okay. So I think that's not an issue. It was the box. Day 38. So by now I have a long list of issues. I've already been in touch with Princess RV Craft. We're gonna bring up the RV and get all of the issues addressed. And so I'm just doing a last minute check of everything. And I looked at the freshwater tank and there was a loose wire probably for the sensor. I also looked in the basement drawer again, and there seemed to be a duct there that I didn't see, a loose duct. I'm not sure. They're gonna check it out. Finally, after taking the truck off the camper again, there had been a few scratches in the truck bed for the first few times I used it, but this time it really had rubbed up against the back rim of my truck bed, basically stripping it of all of the coats of paint down to the metal. This is a problem. There was also stripped paint on the camper and rubbed metal. And so I'm gonna have to get that addressed. Basically, I have a solution. I'm gonna go get a spray liner for the truck bed. That will end all the scratching problems and my potential fears of rust. And then for the camper, we're gonna put a new set of bumpers on it that are a little further out to keep it from having friction with the truck. So at least Princess RV Craft has a solution for that. Apparently the manufacturer does not make the bumpers long enough for the new Ford trucks. Number 5 is have a plan when something goes wrong. So I mentioned the warranty earlier, which means I have to have either a certified dealer that deals with Host truck campers, or I have to have it pre-authorized by Host, the manufacturer, in order for the warranty to apply. Here's the catch. For Host, there are 12 dealers in the United States and only in 10 different states. I'm planning to take this thing on the road for an entire year. It's important to have a plan. I think one of the biggest things that I did right was buy the RV service plan. So that kicks in after the first year of the warranty. So when things go wrong, I have a small deductible, and that pretty much covers everything within the RV itself. It's a couple grand, but over 5 years, it's not a lot of money. I think it takes out some of the pain and suffering that I will experience along the way. So that's the extent of it. My camper is now up in Austin. I'm a little sad, but my next big trip is going to be in December, and so I'm really hopeful that it will be finished in time.
If you want to follow my journey, please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you'd like to have access to behind-the-scenes content and exclusive merchandise, become a patron at patreon.com/Natasha Bajema.